Episode of the Serengeti Show Live. We're here in northern Serengeti. Yeah, I was going to say you've just seen Carol go, yay! So welcome. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. So we're with you today here in the northern Serengeti. We're staying at Lemala Kuria Hills, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But just to sort of tell you where we're going today, I'm here with me and the boys, actually, here with four guys. So I've got Daniel and MIraji are representing Lemala, and they're going to be talking about the migration, but also about the beautiful camp that we're staying at the moment. And we also have Fred here from Tanapa, which is, well, that's basically the theme of the show. We're going to be talking about some of the new guidelines that have been brought in to make tourism and wildlife and all the tourism operators get along a little bit better down at the river for the migration. And also Carol, welcome from Great Migration Camps. I'm going to throw to you immediately because Serengeti Show Live is your baby. This was your idea. So I think it's probably appropriate to start with you telling us why we're here and what the vision is.
Yes, the Serengeti Show is designed to, and we're doing this to tell the conservation story of the Serengeti National Park. It's got a long history. It went through some difficult times in the 60s and 70s, and we are here in the northern Serengeti because 15 years ago the northern Serengeti was very unstable. And there were almost no tourism up here. So if what we're trying to promote is conservation through tourism, and this is a prime example of how tourism can stabilize an area, and then it now became a really prime destination or prime game viewing area in the Serengeti, and that is what tourism has done. And we want to thank Tanapa for your hard work. Thank you. And now, you know, everyone is experiencing wonderful river crossings, and everyone is experiencing the migration in the northern Serengeti because there are more people visiting the northern Serengeti. So we're here to tell the conservation story of the Serengeti, and we will continue to do this throughout the next year, 54 episodes.
So stay tuned.
So there's a lot to discuss, but for us, we want to tell the conservation story.
No, fantastic. Obviously, we couldn't do this without some amazing sponsors. So again, Lemala, thank you so much for having us here. We flew up here with Auric Air, so thank you very much, Auric. We couldn't do any of this technology in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the park, without Gadgetronics and their product Blink, which is really hooking us up, and hopefully you guys are getting this crystal clear, so we're so thankful for them. Miracle Experience Balloon Safaris. So next week's episode, actually, and we'll touch on that at the end of the show, is going to be, well, not quite from a hot air balloon. We couldn't run the cable all the way up, but we are going to be talking about hot air ballooning here in the Serengeti, one of the amazing things that you can do here. Serengeti Acacia Camps, one of the other camps that you can stay at here. They're just down the road and just as gorgeous. So we'll be talking about them in future episodes. And finally, Great Migration Camps. Thanks very much, Carol, for bringing us all together to talk about these things. So, we're talking migration. We're talking about a huge amount of animals moving all around, across the rivers, across chasing the grass, and this is what the boys here are going to tell us all about, but we're going to start with a migration update. What's going on pretty well now?
Yeah, so, you know, we've been following the herds for the last 15 years. And in particular this year has been a very good year for the Serengeti and the Masai Mara. The herds for the first time in a few years went into the Mara this year for a month or so. And the migration update today, what's happened in the last week, we've had some good rain in the Serengeti, widespread rain all the way down to Seregneti. So a lot of the herds are crossing back from the Lamai Wedge area or from the Kenyan side. Back into the Serengeti. So a lot of crossings have been from north to south. MIraji will tell us more. He's on the ground every day.
Yes.
But a lot of crossings have been happening actually all along the river, from north to south. MIraji, where did you see the latest crossings?
Okay, great. Thank you, Carol. Today's was a very big group around from number 0 to number 7.
Which means what?
Which is
Not everyone understands. It's a long river.
Mara River
means,
crossing number
guys.
1 and 7. So I saw the big group today around the 12:02 p.m. It was number 7. It was very a big number of the Great Migration across. So they came from the northern part and heading to the southern part of Serengeti. So we still have the big group around in Masai Mara and Lamai Wedge, but the other big group across there as well come to the Serengeti side. So I hope it was raining a little bit in this side, so I get more green now. So they're looking for the green pastures and the water as well. That's the main thing for the Great Migration to move through. So hopefully if it will be started raining again to the Masai Mara, they may cross on the other side again. So lastly, we may get a lot of crossing again.
There's a big gathering on the Sand River side, towards Bolagonja. So we're hoping that they will cross the Sand River heading north again into the Mara Reserve.
Yes.
For the guys on that side also to experience some crossings. So yes, so the next couple of weeks will tell us whether they're heading back north or if they're going to go down to the central Serengeti. But I have a feeling they will hang around and hopefully they will go north again.
Yeah.
I think you were saying you saw 700 coming across this morning. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a huge group.
Yeah, it was very
Took a
huge
lot
group.
of time to cross. I was there as well.
Oh, were you? Because for everyone, we're going to paint a bit of a picture. So, I mean, the river's very long. There's many crossing points, as they've been explaining. But, I mean, we've probably all seen it before. They don't all dive in at once. It can take a while to sort of mill around and think about going. And that's, but once they start, then they sort of keep going through.
And just to explain the crossing points, so crossing point number 0 is all the way on the western side.
Right, yeah.
The Mara River flows from east to west towards Lake Victoria, so it's like it's flowing in the wrong direction, not towards
Yeah.
the ocean. So number 0 is all the way on the western side, and then number 10 in Makutanu is all the way on the eastern side.
Yes.
So as the Mara River comes down, it flows north to south through the Masai Mara, and then turns west once it enters the Tanzania and the Serengeti side. So MIraji saw a big crossing at number 0, so that's all the way on the western side of the Mara River.
Which leads really nicely into what the main theme of today's show is, which is about how do you regulate that between tour operators, keeping the wildlife safe, 700 animals going across the river, trying to come out the other side with a whole lot of tourists absolutely dying to see it. How do you handle that? Which is why we've got Fred here. So today's main point is quite literally Tanapa has gone ahead and come up with a fantastic sort of process of working out how to regulate this. So Fred, as it's getting more busy, why did Tanapa decide that this was necessary? Why were rules and regulations needed at the crossing points?
Yeah, as Karel has explained, there has been increased tourism for 15 years ago. And as we know, despite the benefits that we get from tourism, like revenue increasing for Serengeti International, but we also have employment for people that are coming here, that these good things come with a cost. You have to manage. And we normally have our rules and regulations that are throughout the park. But with this kind of activity, this kind of phenomena of migration crossing the river, it's a new challenge. It has been there, but with increased tourism, some of the tourism activity that have been done by people in this part of the Serengeti, especially during this time when the migration is here, has been unethical and unsustainable.
Okay.
So Tanapa, in collaboration with Serengeti National Park and the other stakeholders like Frankfurt Zoological Society, Tawiri, Nemki, tour operators, tour guides, set a meeting in Arusha in April, and then again here in Northern Serengeti in May, physically on those crossing points to see the best way of coming with guideline that can help both tourists to have the best experience, but as well as Tanapa ecosystem integrity. So these are not things that just come from Tanapa themselves or from us, but they also come from other tour operators, because other tour operators, other stakeholders have the stake in this great migration as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw to MIraji in that case, because you came at this, you were invited to the meetings and you've
Yes.
been working up here for a long time,
Yes.
so you know what was going on at the crossings. You know, I mean, fights were breaking out from what I understand,
Yes.
but where do you sort of stand on the regulations coming in?
Okay, for a few years back, it was the regulation was there, but it was tricking needed. They wasn't following by the guides, especially. But now they are very nice. In the Tanapa came with the new trial, which is very nice for us, and they did a very great job. I might say that. So they came with a big sign. They can just written sign, which you can be parking while you're waiting for the crossing, and the time you going to the Mara River crossing where they already started crossing, how you approach as well is 20 kilometers per hour. So you're going slowly instead of just disturbing them. As well, we have another sign which said you are not going beyond this sign. So which is very nice. You can leave the migration after crossing the Mara River. So they have very big space to cross through. So that's the exit place. So it's very nice. And on this few months from the rule started, so we're doing very great now. Yes.
Because there were actually examples of guides letting people out of the car or blocking the animals getting out of the river, which is horrifying. But can you specify a few more of the regulations for it?
Yeah, thank you so much. It is very important also for people to know that Tanapa and the Serengeti National Park understand that the guests that are coming here need to get the best level of experience without compromising the integrity of the ecosystem. So we have these rules, the guidelines that is there to make sure that both us as Tanzania National Park, Serengeti National Park, and the other stakeholder benefit from those. But another important thing for people to know, we have our conservation target as Tanzania National Park. And one of the key conservation targets are the key attraction of the tourist. One is the migration itself, but the Mara River is also a key conservation target. So when I'm saying a key conservation target, is where the park mobilize all the resources to make sure that these things do not get problem. So anything that can compromise those key conservation targets can never be tolerated, because otherwise we will not have the Serengeti National Park. So some of the rules of actually I can explain it simply from the problem itself and how the rules come, and MIraji knows because they've been there in the workshop.
Chime in at any time.
And he's
Tell us all about
practicing them sometimes, though we get probably from other people who are not didn't get enough knowledge of this, but we try to spread this guideline. We call them provisional guidelines, because we still have room for improvement.
Well, you're trying them out now. I mean, this is the first year it's happened, so you've got to see what works, what doesn't.
So before the guidelines, there was people just drive them along the migration crossing point. People are blocking animals from where they're passing out. You know that much, how much stress and harassment can be caused to the animals. And we are not talking of 2 or 3 animals crossing the river. We're talking of very, very big number of animals. And ecologically, river crossing for the migration is a very, very serious activity. So you see the animal crossing their head, some of them lose their parents in the process, some of them are interrupted, they don't cross, some of them are on this side. So adding pressure to unethical tourism activities is very bad, because it compromises that phenomena that is very, very key in Serengeti.
And I think if tourists understand this, they wouldn't want that either. You know, they wouldn't want to be putting stress on the animals. I mean, they paid a lot of money to come. Yes, there's photographers who probably want to get great photos and that sort of thing, but at what cost, you know? So part of this is actually the education as well, all around the tourism operators, Tanapa and the tourists.
So we have a rule that says animals should be given enough space during the crossing so that they can pass. So that is one of the rules. So if somebody is blocking, so it's violating the rule. Another rule that is very important also for audience to understand is approaching speed. You know, we have special areas that we put clear signage showing that the vehicle should stay in one place, like a parking area. waiting for the migration to cross. At the time when the migration start crossing, the vehicle will approach the migration to the place where we have another sign that say you should not go beyond this point. And that is a distance that is given to every crossing point that has been agreed between us and other operators. So the speed,
Pole.
yeah, so we have that regulation of speed that is 20 kilometers per hour. In the past it was like rally. People were driving very fast.
Well, because they wanted to get to the
Yeah.
front, they
And
wanted to get the best spot.
So that one is also.
Yeah.
So people should park, should wait until they will start crossing the congregation, and then they go slowly approaching the crossing before that end where we should not go. But also people were doing picnic activities along the banks of the river. So you find people waiting for the migration. Some other people set the table along the bank of the river, feeding people. It was like chaos.
There are lions that follow the migration, can we just add? You know, there's all sorts of other situations along that riverbank.
So safety is also a big
Yeah.
Yes, very, very.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have also a regulation saying that we should not set the table along the bank of the river,
Fair enough.
the crossing point. So you have to go to designated area where you can get a picnic.
Have a meal.
But we have also a regulation that says that people should stay in their vehicle during all time, with exception when there is an emergency.
Yeah.
Emergency that one is understood. You can, because the number of vehicles in the northern Serengeti during the migration is very big. You can have more than 100 vehicles sometimes. So imagine having a crossing in one point only, all the vehicle going there,
Yeah.
and people start getting out of the vehicles. So it will be like not a tourist destination. So that one we agreed with stakeholders that that should also be a rule that people should stay inside their vehicles during the time when they're waiting for. If you think you want to eat, you can have your lunch or breakfast inside your vehicle. If
sitting on
you set the table, you don't have to set it in
Exactly.
the side.
Yeah.
So there are
And there are
several,
fines
yeah.
too, so Tanapa can actually fine tour operators too. So you're saying yes to that, but I'm gonna go back to MIraji on
Yes.
this. Do you think the fines are fair? And it's a double pronged question, and how, now that you're operating this, do you feel like the tourists that you have with you understand this and appreciate this?
Actually, for me, I can say they understand. Before after picking them to the airstrip, so we have the brochure, which is you can give to them. They can read the regulation of the Mara River crossing, which is very important. So later on, gonna be no much question, so which is very nice as well. So for me, I'm very happy. My guests normally enjoying a lot. The time just like staying distance, leaving the exit of the animal after crossing, they go and free. Sometimes we've seen the crocodile catching. That is not a problem, but before it was like sometimes animal kicking each other, while they can't get out. So for the regulation now, I'm very for me I can say it's very nice. So I will still educate my fellow guides. Some of them they wasn't in a workshop where we did it in April. So we still tell them about the workshop which we did, the new regulation as well. Some of them they just understand. Even today I just try to ask them to put the radio. I say it's very nice to wait in distance, to approach, getting a distance a little bit. So everyone looks like happy. Some of them still a little bit, but we know everyone is different so far. So for
this year has been good. I mean,
yes.
The footage that we got this year with beautiful crossings that are not getting interrupted.
Exactly.
So I think, generally speaking, guys are buying into the concept, and at the end, everyone is having a positive experience.
Yes.
So well done, Tanapa.
No, but Fred, as you said, I mean, it's provisional at the moment. This is the first year they've been done. The crossing season will end in the next month and a half, 2 months. And then we'll all sit down and see how it goes. I'm quite sure you'll probably have feedback systems and talk to everyone, and if changes need to be made, changes will be made.
We have people from Tanzania, like Research Institute, that we are running questionnaire to some of the guests
Brilliant.
and the guides to see if there is room for improvement. So the finding of that study might help in making
There's
terrain
trees at
is,
some, there's
yeah.
exactly, there's rocks
That's
at
why we
others.
decided to come on
100%.
site and do it on site, because speaking from distance,
Yeah.
about crossing number, let's say 5 or 4,
Yeah.
if you don't see the registration,
Oh,
that
that's
one
right.
is there.
And
So
they, yeah, it's not a cookie cutter.
I
It's
believe
some-
this one is a very, very big step towards going to sustainable conservation.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So speaking of sustainability, we're going to swing sideways, and so after a hard day's safari, you need to come back and put your head down somewhere. And we're, as I said earlier, very lucky to be here at Lemala Kuria Hills, and I've got Daniel down there who has sat through very nicely the last few minutes. But I did want to talk to you about, I don't know, how Lemala Hills works with the tourists as well, and you're working on sustainability too. And so it's not just Tanapa putting in rules, you are working very nicely with the tour operators, with the lodge owners, with the camps around the area, and I think that's sort of improving everything. But tell me all about your camp.
Thank you very much, Tanya. As the name suggests, Kuria Hills, Lemala Kuria Hills is part of the larger Lemala camps and lodges. Just talking about Kuria Hills, we've got a beautiful property. We've got 15 well-appointed rooms. These are very spacious. They have different amenities inside. And when you're talking about our rooms, it wouldn't be complete without us mentioning about the shower inside, the bathtub inside, outdoor shower, and the plunge pool.
Oh, yeah. The individual plunge pools
Exactly.
are stunning.
Every tent has a plunge pool. Now, basically, all these facilities are geared to what guest is looking for comfort. That is looking for personalized service, that would appreciate luxury, basically. And not only about the facility, because if I talk about Lemala Kuria Hills, it's got one of the best or one of the most beautiful camp or lodge in the whole of Serengeti. But the
Good
biggest,
location.
yeah. In terms of location, it's just unbelievable. The views are breathtaking. And of course, the rooms are beautiful. But the biggest resource that I can talk about right now is about a team of staff that is very passionate about excellent service provision. You're not just talking about service provision, but you're talking about memorable, living an experience. Now, that is actually what defines Lemala. Going back a little and talking about the location, we are very blessed that we're very close to the crossing point, the Mara River itself. It takes normally between 20 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on your speed. And of course, if you've got anything that you're viewing while going to
There were 20 giraffes at the
Yeah.
top of the driveway just this morning, so
just before you came, we had cheetah, which was around 350 meters from tent number 13. Yeah, you could actually be able to see it
Oh my
from
God.
your balcony.
from the plunge pool.
Yeah. Talking about the other animals, I'd say that elephants and buffaloes have their bedroom here because they are so common both during the day and in the evening. So it's
I think,
basically
Carol, your tent was being head-butted by a buffalo last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, and just this morning we saw serval, leopard, lion, and cheetah. You know,
In 12
all
hours, yeah.
All within 10 kilometers from Lemala
I
Kuria
think
Hills.
you don't need to go to the game drive then.
No, that's right.
Just
Sit and
stay
look
here,
out
yeah.
off your veranda.
yeah.
Yeah. But
And
you have solar and borehole water as well. I mean, you are actually very sustainable. There's very little plastic here. You've done what you can to sort of fit into the environment. Well, yes, exactly. Everyone gets one of these. This is MIraji's with his name on it.
No plastic water bottles.
No.
Absolutely. That is another aspect that I was going to talk about. we are trying to be as eco-friendly as possible. We don't use plastics, and I'm not just talking about water bottles, plastic water bottles, but we've gone deeper. We've gone even discarding the use of the plastic straws.
Yeah. Very
Discarded
important.
use of baby wipes because that is plastic. It
There's
takes
really no need to
long
have that.
time
That
to
is responsible.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
we've moved away from plastic earbuds.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
So
Even your
really-
lunch boxes, no plastic.
Absolutely. Our lunch boxes are 100% degradable. And you're talking about banana.
Oh yeah, which you can just put into
material.
compost or bury in the garden.
Yeah, and everything inside, in terms of packaging, is totally degradable. Biodegradable.
Amazing.
Um,
Which goes to show that it's possible, and you can only lead by example. So hopefully, more and more lodges and more camps will start doing exactly the same.
Yes.
And if a high-end property like Lemala Kuria Hills can do it, then there's no excuse for anyone else not to.
No, exactly right. Yeah.
Just to add on that, we get our water from a borehole to international standards. And then we do not package or put that water into plastics. We've got specific containers for the water. Still talking about being very eco-friendly. Let me just mention that we've got a very comprehensive solar system, very comprehensive and ultra-modern. Just sitting in the office and be able to see how the charging is going on with the solar system.
And a hot shower at the end of the day is so great.
Actually, you get a hot shower 24/7 every other
Yes,
time. of the
exactly.
day.
Whatever time.
Yeah. So
Or you can do the plunge pool.
Or you can do the plunge pool. We're going to be posting photos of the plunge pool, don't worry.
And did I remember to mention that we've got the main swimming pool apart from the plunge pool?
Oh yes, well, I look to you. I haven't been there yet, I haven't left my room. This is the first time I've come out.
Yeah, and everything that we do here, we try to be very eco-friendly, basically in every aspect. And at the same time, providing the comfort, providing the luxury, and great service that our guests come here.
And
to
great
look for.
guides.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
not so
then.
sure.
No. All right, so coming up next is our sighting of the week. So again, all I'm doing is just passing over to the boys on this one. So I don't know, we've talked about what we saw very close by. I get excited by anything I see, but these are old hands. It has to be really special for them to think it's really special. So tell me all about it, guys.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, next week we will have a little insert of what we saw. But we have to mention our leopard of this morning.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Beautiful to see a leopard stalk during the day. Missed the oribi, but it's just incredible to sit and watch a leopard with so much patience and skill. 40 meters away, going through the whole stalking process, and it's just absolutely spectacular. We got some very good footage.
And then climbed the tree.
Yeah, and then up the tree and a whole show, And but I must say, the last few weeks, the last month, MIraji, you've had some spectacular crossings. So you
Oh,
must,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the one crossing lasted 3-4 hours.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, number one. Yeah.
Number one.
Course number one.
You should not forget the excellent work of conservation.
Exactly.
Thank goodness you're here, Fred, to point that out.
Without Tanapa, none of this would be here. And
No,
none of this
and-
would be possible.
No, I mean that's as we said, we sat down and had lunch and got into a very wide-ranging conversation. Tanzania is actually introducing more national parks at the moment. I mean, Tanapa has got their hands full, and it's because this country is just so spectacular. So we'll be moving beyond the Serengeti eventually, but now, this is going to take up a year to talk about, but there's so many other beautiful places.
Tough work, very tough.
Yeah. All right, well, we've been talking for quite a while, and I suspect these guys could talk for ages, but we're going to wrap it up now. So thank you very much for watching. please send us any questions via the online system that you're watching. We've podcasted this and we're all across social media, so send us any details or questions that you have. Next week, as I mentioned, is hot air ballooning, so very nice of Miracle Experience Balloon Safaris to send us up into the air. It's probably the best way to see all the animals underneath. It's a very out of Africa experience.
Different perspective.
Yeah, looking very much forward to that. We're streaming live again at 4 p.m. East Africa time, so tune in, or as we say, we're recording and we'll put it up onto YouTube for everyone to have a look at. A lot of this is educational as well, so tell your friends, and we're just really encouraging people to come down to the Serengeti and come down to Tanzania as well and experience all of this. Thank you very much to our sponsors again here, and thanks guys for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you later.
Nice.